What's going on, guys? Welcome back into the Pittsburgh Pirates franchise here on MLB The Show 22. I know it's been a minute since we've done one of these, but it's time to jump back in. I kind of fell off the wagon there for a little bit, wasn't as interested in franchise mode, and now I'm picking back up with it, and I've gotten through 1 month of gameplay with this new team that we've put together. So there's a lot to recap you guys on. You can see we are in the 30th, technically, of the previous month, the 30th of April. So let's go ahead back to the month of April and actually take a look at how we've done through most of the month of April. We obviously have that one game left remaining, but we got off to a hot start, and we mentioned that in our previous videos. We started off there with 6 straight wins, I believe it is, finally picking up a loss against the Milwaukee Brewers, but nonetheless, we are sitting at 20-7, which is an absolutely phenomenal record, and to be honest with you, I think that that's going to cool off at some point, and you know, this team is playing really well. We've put together a very good squad, and you'll get to see a player lock at the end of today's video. But what I'm really excited about is how we've set ourselves up for success through building this team and through the start to this season. We could have a dip off at any point during the season, and we're still going to find ourselves in contention because of how well we've done at the start of the season and how well we managed to put this roster together. So with that being said, let's go ahead and take a look at all of the different components that are coming together in order to make this machine work. So first and foremost, I want to show you guys how we stand within the league and within the division. We're currently sitting at 20-7. It's actually really interesting because the division has kind of flipped. So we're in the 1 spot. The Reds have actually managed to claim the 2 spot as of right now at 17-11. The Cardinals have fallen down a little bit to 13-14. The Cubs still aren't very good, but the Brewers are doing absolutely terrible to start off the season at 7-21, which is pretty crazy to see how badly they are doing. What is also interesting to see is we do technically have the #1 win total of any team throughout the league. So as we go throughout the standings, we are up there at 20 wins ahead of teams like the Blue Jays, the Guardians, the Reds, as we had mentioned, the Dodgers, for example. So we're up at 20 wins, which is great. You know, I'm going to be happy about that all day long. I'll take it all day long. 20 wins is a great way to start off the season, and probably a little bit unrealistic from that perspective and a little bit too quick for us. But hey, when we're doing good at building our team and developing our team and getting them to where we want to be, that's what comes from it. That's the positives that you guys can expect. And that leads me to my next point, which is how the players are actually doing in our pitching rotation and our lineup. So let's go ahead and take a look at the pitching rotation to start off, because that's pretty straightforward. So Mitch Keller is 4-1 on the season, 40 innings pitched, 45 strikeouts, and a 2.7 ERA. He's doing really well in that role for us so far this year. Nothing to complain about, certainly. Roansy Contreras has been probably our best pitcher. Kind of debatable, could go back and forth with that, but he's technically 6-0 with 36 innings pitched, 36 strikeouts, and a 2.72 ERA, while JT Brubaker is doing a very solid job of filling that third pitcher role, 2-2 on the season, 28 innings pitched, 3.86 ERA. You can tell that he's been taken out of some games short, but we've been able to manage nonetheless. Reynaldo Lopez is 3-0, so he's gotten a couple of no decisions, 33 innings pitched, 25 strikeouts, a 1.60 ERA. So his strikeout numbers not too high right now, but doing really well on the mound, not allowing many runs. And Adonis Medina has served us really well in what we, expected out of him. We expected, just a 5th pitcher essentially to see what he could do, and he's done really well for us so far at 3-2, 33 innings pitched, 37 strikeouts, and a 2.41 ERA. So really no weak link in the rotation right now, and that's extremely exciting for our prospects to be able to compete. And then the bullpen is interesting as well. So Max Kranick has gotten some work as the long reliever. He's done well. Aaron Fletcher, Jordan Holloway, both under a 1 ERA. Luis Oviedo at 1.1. Dwayne Underwood Jr. has not let up a run this year. Has only pitched 4 innings, but not too bad. Diego Castillo, 1.69 ERA. And David Bednar at 1-1 with 9 innings pitched, 10 strikeouts, and 5 saves on the season with only 1 blown save. So I'd say for the most part that our pitching rotation is doing really well for us. Now keep in mind, this lineup is going to look a little bit wonky right now because some guys have had days off, some guys are playing secondary positions and things like that. So we're going to run through all of the players, just don't really pay attention to where they're lined up right now. Ke'Bryan Hayes is batting .245, 5 home runs on the season in 98 138 at-bats and 10 RBIs. He's doing pretty well for us. I'd like to see his bat come along a little bit further than where it is right now, but I can't complain too much because he's so good defensively, and his bat's not awful. Johan Mieses has been an absolute stud for us so far this season. He's also batted in 5 home runs, 13 RBIs with a 333 average, and he's really kind of pushing for that, top of the lineup, middle of the order type of a spot. Brian Reynolds is batting 463, so no surprises here after he won the MVP last year. 463, 12 home runs, 26 RBIs. He's just going absolutely berserk, and that's not a surprise there. Miguel Sano is actually batting 237, which isn't too bad. I mean, I think that's progression from last year, if we're not mistaken. Yeah, so he was at 236, and I have confidence that as I continue to use him throughout the season, I'll be able to keep him above that mark, progression in the right direction, and we'll be able to get a good number of home runs out of him. Now, I don't think we're going to see a big jump in the direction that I was hoping he might be able to take, but I think he'll be a solid role player for this team with that power that he brings, even if it's just off of the bench. Next up is going to be O'Neal Cruz, who's batting 302 with 6 home runs and 14 RBIs. He's been doing solid all around. You can tell his bat is doing really well. He's played in 106 appearances, or 106 at-bats, I should say, which is, I think, the highest number of anybody on the team, which is kind of crazy. And I think the reason for that is we only have one other player that is technically capable of playing shortstop, which is Reid Odor. So that might be a problem for us in the foreseeable future, is potentially bringing somebody up that can also play shortstop, or giving somebody the secondary position of shortstop. That could be a potential problem for us. Like maybe one of our, like Michael Chavis might need to get the shortstop infield position or something like that. So that could be an issue with the number of at-bats that he's taking. But Henry Davis, the new catcher to the team, the first-round draft pick in recent years for the Pittsburgh Pirates, is doing crazy good. 62 at-bats so far, only 1 home run, but he is batting 323. And he does play sometimes at first base, splitting time with guys like Mason Martin and Daniel Vogelbach. But what I wanted to kind of highlight here is that he's got 62 at-bats on the season, and Reese McGuire has 61. So we are utilizing both players. We are getting both of them playing time. We are trying to ease Henry Davis into it. We're not trying to make this a situation where we're just plopping him in there under fire and expecting him to be great. And I think that's allowed him to do so well so far on the season with his 323 batting average, is that he's not expected to be the best player in the lineup or anything even close to that. So we're keeping the expectations low for some of those players, and that helps keep the pressure off of them. Anthony Alford batting 250 for us right now. Sometimes he bats leadoff, sometimes he comes into the DH role. I'm pretty happy with him as a role player for the team. He actually adds a decent amount of power too off the bat, so he's just a really fantastic kind of well-rounded type of a role player that I don't really see myself getting rid of anytime soon, unless somebody's going to come at us with a really nice trade offer in return for him because he has played well. We mentioned Reese McGuire playing pretty well at 262 average, and then Michael Chavis has done decent enough, batting 250 so far. Not much power. He hasn't shown that power that he has against lefties, which is a little bit odd. Only 1 home run on the season, even though he does have 76 at-bats. What I will say then is we go to the bench where we're having a little bit more of a disappointing season, and so this leaves room for potential prospects to come up or potential trades to happen. Daniel Vogelbach is batting 214. He only has 14 at-bats. That is partially due to the simulation. I need to get him more involved as we go forward, and I think he'll have a bigger effect on what we do as we move forward, so I'm not too worried about that one. Andrew McCutchen has been a little bit of a disappointment since his addition to the team, but batting 216, 37 at-bats, you can't expect that much out of a guy coming off of the bench. He hasn't had that many repetitions. I would like to see more out of him. I'd like to see a consistent 250 batting average, even though he's getting minimal repetition. It's nice to have the name on the team, but I really would have liked to see more out of him so far, and I'm expecting more as we move forward. Reid Odor has really just been a disappointment overall. He filled that void of Perez whenever we let him walk, and to be honest with you, he's also filling the role that Perez had for us, which is doing just about nothing for us, unfortunately. So he might have to take a stint in the minors. We may waive him, we may trade him. I don't really know what the best option is with him, but we're going to have to look at potentially doing something different with him and potentially bringing up one of our prospects that is going to be, knocking on the door here very soon. Mason Martin batting 257, 4 home runs. You can see that he's technically on the bench right now, but he's gotten a good amount of time at first base, and he's really done well for himself so far. And then Travis Swaggerty has also done really, really well as a prospect coming up for us in 55 at-bats, batting .327, adding 4 RBIs and a home run. He's also pretty solid defensively, so I'm pretty excited about where we're at, but we do have to keep an eye on some of these positions like Rugnan Odor, Andrew McCutchen, and Daniel Vogelbach, who simply have not given us exactly what we would like to see out of them so far. So I decided let's go ahead and use Mason Martin, see what we can do with him. He only has 36 at-bats on the season. We need to get those numbers up, certainly. So we'll hop into this player lock game and we'll utilize Mason Martin, and I think we should end up with a solid performance from him. We'll see if we can get the bat to the ball. We haven't had any issues doing that so far in our time played with him. So we will first hit the plate here up in the second inning. Already 1 out on the board. We're going to get that first pitch, and that might be hit well enough to get it into the gap. It is not. So that one's going to fall to the center fielder, but that first pitch looked way too good not to swing on. So we got a nice first pitch sent right to us, right down the middle, and unfortunately just didn't get enough power on it in order to hit that into the gap or out of the park. Second at bat now here is going to come in the 4th inning. Going up against Justin Dunn in this game. A tough pitcher sometimes to go up against. He likes to pitch around the zone. Not very often that he throws me pitches in areas that I actually want to hit. Almost got a hold of that 4-seam right there. 2-1 count. Circle change up in the middle of the zone. Very late on that one and swung too far down. Thought we got a hold of that slurve. We just came underneath of it, so we're going to pop that one up to the infield. It's going to be our second out of the game. Both hit into the air. Not able to get a hit on base yet, though. We are only up 1-0 in this game. Honestly, a little bit of a far cry from what we've seen from this team so far this year. We've seen a lot of scoring, so maybe it's a little bit different now that we're player locking. 0 for 2, like I said. 2-0 count. Sinker in the zone, not going to get called in favor of the pitcher, though, so we got a 3-0 count. Slider inside. He's hitting us with those curves, those breaking pitches, I should say, not curves, coming in towards the inside. That's going to be the 4th ball. We will get a base on balls. We did stick with the number 73 for Mason Martin, which I like. I don't know why. I feel like it just looks good on him. Whenever he's up there to bat, whenever he's over there at first base, he just looks like a big power type of player. Really fits the mold of what we've been trying to do with this team so far. Looks like a well-hit ball. In for a single. Advances us over to second base. Still 1 out in the inning. We'll have our runners on first and second. Henry Davis, the rookie, up to bat. 0-2 count. Probably going to be swinging. They're going to get him on the strikeout, so that puts us in a 2-out situation. And another 0-2 count, so it looks like I'm going to be going on this one. Got to be ready. And another strikeout. So this game is going to remain 1-0 for now. Let's see if anything changes by the time we come back up. Down 2-1 now. They could utilize some run support. If we could put one over the wall, that would tie things up. Lucas Sims now in pitching. I have not been able to catch up to these pitches today. I'm swinging pretty late. They really aren't sending the ball. I mean, I'm looking for it up in the zone. They have not made mistakes. There was that first pitch of the game that we almost hit for a home run. (3-2) count loaded now. Come on, get us a good pitch. Swung through that 4-seam. I thought I was going to be able to get up to that one. Apparently not, though. And I advanced too quickly through it in order to see what the actual call was, whether I was late swinging on it or what. I think I was late. Here we go, plays at first base. Getting some defensive action, unfortunately. Unless our Pirates team can rally without us, looking like it's going to be a loss, and that is indeed the case. They're going to come away with the 2-1 victory. We weren't able to get anything done with Mason Martin today, unfortunately. Not the most exciting gameplay that I've had in here, but it was mainly a team update that I wanted to give for you guys, and I hope you guys at least enjoyed the video. And if you did, leave that like down below. Continue to tune in for future episodes, subscribe to the channel, and comment down below. I'll see you guys in the next video as always, and I hope you have a good one.